The Great War, fought between demons and the Orthodox, lasted for 13 long years. No one could have predicted that outcome. Anyone who wielded a sword perished in that war. The battlefield resembled an endless hell. However, the deadly war ended one day, unexpectedly, with a ceasefire. Even 20 years after the end of the war, the history and reason behind the ceasefire remain unknown. Both the demons and the Orthodox alliance made a pact to remain silent for a time. Afterward, new forces began to rise in Jianghu. Many families fell into poverty because of the war. Then, we see a woman in a plain field, training with her sword while saying, "Why the hell can't I break through the 7-star realms?" Her name is Zhang Cherian, the second daughter of the righteous sword sect's leader. She says to herself, "I have to master the Red Death Sword art as soon as possible to restore my family." The Red Death Sword art is a martial art passed down for generations within the righteous sword sect. She regrets that her skills are not improving. Suddenly, she hears someone calling her name. She looks back and sees her sister, Jian Warian, and her brother-in-law, Xiao Beck. She asks why they have come to visit her in the middle of her practice. Warian informs her that someone from the Zhangxin clan has arrived, and their swordsman Zhang wants to compete with her in this year's Dragon and Phoenix tournament. Zhang looks at them in shock, feeling as if the ground has been swept out from beneath her feet. There are two tournaments that stand out as the most prestigious among the martial artists of the Central Plains. One is the Heavenly Dragon Tournament, the greatest tournament under the heavens. The second is the Dragon and Phoenix Tournament, a contest for young men and women who compete in pairs. And this year, both of these epic events will be held in Wuhan, Hubei. Zhang hates the idea of being paired with someone, finding it childish. She hates even more that she is paired with Zhang, a man she despises. She insists she cannot do it. She begins arguing with her sister, saying she will never team up with someone like Zhang. Jian tells her to calm down and listen carefully. Xiao, terrified by their heated argument, steps in and begs them to stop. Jian tells Cherian that since she has always wanted to bring honor to their family, participating in both tournaments is the best way to gain prestige. But Zhang does not care about what she says, as she has already made up her mind not to go. She even suggests that Jian should lie about her age to enter the tournament instead. Cherian takes a deep breath. The scene then shifts to a market where people are roaming about. Some are selling Westlake Longjing tea for half its usual price. Others are gossiping. Zhang passes by them and wonders what might happen if the Zhangxin clan holds a grudge against her sect and retaliates. It is unfair that they can do whatever they want simply because they are powerful. In the market, some people begin fighting with each other, even drawing their swords. The other customers panic and flee. Then we see a group of people. One says, "If only his lordship could lend his strength to this matter." Another replies, "Don't worry about it. Just make sure to take care of what we discussed last time." Nearby, a woman is shouting and screaming because her pouch went missing. Cherian wonders if this is truly the Jianghu she once dreamed of. Then, she notices the leader of the Murim Alliance. People gather around him, praising him, saying, "To think that the dream of unifying the demonic cult would end so fruitlessly." They congratulate him for ending the war that lasted 13 years. Cherian wonders what kind of nonsense this is. Even if it is an act, no true news has ever been revealed about the treaty signed between the Orthodox faction and the demonic group. Suddenly, she hears a voice behind her. "I have similar thoughts." She turns and sees a man with long light brown hair standing there. He says, "The heavenly demon's 9 calamities demonic technique is also called the invincible demon art. In a one-on-one fight, no one can defeat him." He goes on to share his point of view, stating that the war between the Orthodox faction and the demonic cult could not have ended in such a trivial manner. Cherian is shocked and wonders what is up with that guy. The man smiles at her and offers to go for a drink together, saying it is his first time in Wuhan and he doesn't even know the way. Cherian wonders if he is pulling some trick with his innocent face. Jihyong turns away from her and says, "If you're a martial artist, then you shouldn't act like a failed martial artist. I have something else to take care of, so I'll be leaving." As she starts walking in the opposite direction, the man asks her, "Do you really think Jianghu has such great value?" Cherian looks at him in confusion and asks him to clearly state his point of view. He replies, "Ideals and chivalry have long been abandoned. This Jianghu is nothing but a facade. Isn't that pathetic?" Cherian looks him in the eye, grips her sword, and trembles. She tells him that he is still living in this Jianghu. Then, as she walks away, she says that this Jianghu is not so corrupt that it deserves such disrespect. The man looks at her strangely, then smiles and turns his head. We hear the sound of a sword ornament made of nightlight stone. Meanwhile, people on the streets are wondering why Wuhan has become so crowded. Others speculate about what kind of tournament might be held there. Some gossip about how the front row seats at the Heavenly Dragon tournament cost only 10 niangs. The scene shifts to Huayang Inn. People are eating as waiters serve food. Some men at a table discuss how they've heard the Dragon and Phoenix tournament will be epic, and that the top candidate for the championship will surely be the swordsman of the Buxin family. Cherian arrives, overhears them, and interrupts, saying they shouldn't underestimate the swordsman of the Namak sect either. She wonders why there are so many people gathered. One of the men stands up and asks, "Aren't you young Lady Cherian of the Righteous Sword sect? What brings you here alone?" She replies that she's only here for a drink. The man states that, "Since you're Wuhan's best, I'll give you a discount." People around them begin gossiping. Cherian wonders who has been spreading such rumors, frustrated since she doesn't even visit inns alone. She starts climbing the stairs. As she enters the room, she sees the brown-haired guy she met at Wang Street sitting there. He smiled at her, saying if he'd known, he would have come with her. Taking a piece of chicken from the table, he asks her about the registration and deadline for the tournament. Cherian stares at him, wondering if he has been hungry for a long time. She asks if he is even serious about participating. He responds, "Of course. I heard pretty girls will gather there, right? And I've got the kind of face that girls tend to like." He bites into a dumpling as he talks about his past, saying he has been traveling since the age of 10, and everywhere he went, girls followed him. Cherian smirks and says, "Unbelievable. Have you always been this weird?" She recalls their earlier conversation on Wang Street and notices he seems like a completely different person now. The man continues, saying he has realized who the most beautiful woman in Jianghu is, his mother. Cherian pauses in confusion and asks, "Your mother?" The man suddenly turns serious, taking her tone as disrespectful. He accuses her of looking down on his mother just because she is old. Cherian wonders what she said wrong. The man shifts the subject, saying that with the tournament approaching, he craves more food. He confidently states he will win, as he plans to conquer Hubei this year. Cherian is shocked at the mention of Hubei, feeling as if the ground has been swept from beneath her. The man adds that at times like these, he just gets really hungry. Suddenly, a voice comes from the door, "Winning the tournament and conquering Hubei. Aren't you being a bit too boastful?" The man at the door has maroon hair. His name is Zhang Injial, the successor of the Zhangxin clan. Several people enter the room with him, including a woman, his sister, Zhang Inawa. Injial greets Cherian, asking how she has been. Cherian glares at him with anger, recalling that they have met before, and she wants to strike him then and there, but restrains herself. Injial then notices the man across the table, eating calmly and ignoring him. Irritated, he comments, "Looks like someone else is here too." Raising his hand, he says, "This is for the bill," and throws a gold coin. "If you're done eating, could you please leave the seat?" The man says that he doesn't think it's enough. Injial looks at him, confused, not understanding what he meant. To clarify, the man says that there's more food to come. Injial grows angry and demands that he get up and leave. Then he relaxes for a moment, saying he is acting nice only because the man is from Jianghu. He further boasts, "Our weapon looks enormous." As he bends to pick up his sword, he fails, realizing the blade is extremely heavy. He feels that if he turns around and shows weakness, he will face humiliation for not being able to lift the blade. Even if he has to use his internal energy, he decides he must. Using his full strength, he finally lifts it. He asks the man if he uses such blades to train his muscles. His group begins to laugh. The stranger then picks up the blade effortlessly with one hand and says these weapons aren't for training at all. Injial argues, insisting it's obvious that something this heavy is only used for practice. Injial feels mocked, as though the man is making fun of him. Just as he is about to start a fight, Cherian steps between them and reminds them it is an inn. Injial laughs and asks why Cherian keeps staring at him continuously, suggesting she must be interested in him. He grabs her hand and says she will be joining the tournament with him, claiming it's better they know each other before the tournament begins. She pulls her hand away and tells him she has already decided to participate with someone else. Ingeal gets angry and demands to know the reason. Cherian clenches her fist and says that using his family's power to force things onto her is a shameful act. Ingeal grows angrier and demands to know the name of the person she is partnering with. Before she can speak, the stranger declares, "It's me. She'll be with me." Ingeal stutters, "What?" as if he cannot believe it. Inoue steps in, asking the man if he even knows who he's talking to. The man replies that he doesn't know them at all and asks her if she knows who he is. Inoue smirks and says she doesn't. The man explains that usually, people have two reactions when meeting someone unknown. Either they dismiss them or they fear them. But Inoue is doing both. She dismisses him because she doesn't know him, while secretly hoping he will fear her brother. He calls it contradictory. Ingeal angrily tells the man he's got guts to speak in such a tone. The man casually replies, "You see, I eat everything well. They say people who eat well, speak well." Ingeal turns away, saying he'll see them at the Dragon and Phoenix tournament. He leaves through the exit. Inoue turns back and says to the man, "I'll see you soon." They all leave, leaving Cherian and the man alone in the room. Cherian worries that she may be in danger because of Ingeal's temper and that the stranger guy may be in danger too. The man says that since they now have to participate in the tournament together, he must revise his plan. Cherian asks him why he used the word revise since he hadn't been interested in participating in the first place. He replies that this is exactly why he must revise it. She asks if he really meant the Heavenly Dragon tournament when he spoke about participating. He replies yes. Cherian then asks why he stays so still despite having such amazing martial arts skills, and why he didn't fight Ingeal and his men. He replies that he doesn't fight with little kids, and besides, those kids aren't the real reason Jianghu has rotted. Cherian grows serious, noticing the gravity in his expression, and concludes that he might be telling the truth. As Ingeal leaves the inn, his subordinates tries to calm him down, saying Cherian is just trying to make him jealous, and that she isn't even serious about winning the tournament since she rejected him and chose such a laughable guy. Ingeal ignores their words and keeps walking, knowing deep down that the man is no joke. He carries a blade that heavy with ease. It was the first time he had seen him. He wonders who the man truly is. Then his thoughts shift to Cherian, amazed by how much courage she had to reject him. He decides he will make them both pay for what they did today. The scene shifts to the Righteous Sword Sect. 3 people sit across a table, discussing how Cherian rejected Master Zhang outright. An old lady says she was worried even before this, because of the rumors she has heard about Master Zhang. Her name is Sui, the matriarch of the Righteous Sword Sect. They begin arguing about what Master Zhang might do with such a temper, and whether Cherian is still too young to be put in such danger. Another man, Zhang Lichu, the sect leader, listens as the debate continues. One insists the matter is serious and they must find Cherian at once, while another argues it isn't necessary. Suddenly, Cherian and the brown-haired guy walks into the room. All the members are shocked to see them. They demand to know who the man beside her is. Stepping forward, she introduces him as the one she will partner with in the tournament. The man smiles and says, "Nice to meet you all. I'm Jeek Legion." Then we see Legion handling a vase in his hand as he says, "Is this porcelain from the Fujian region?" Legion asks her about the price of the vase. Master Zhang replies, 50 to 100 niangs. Legion remarks that if he had been there instead of them, he would have bought it for 120 niangs. Master Zhang shifts the conversation to Cherian's decision to enter the Dragon and Phoenix tournament with Master Legion. Sui thinks to herself how childish Cherian is for deciding to enter the tournament with such a strange man. Legion starts spinning the vase, which annoys Cherian. Sui asks Zhang about his sect. He replies that he doesn't have one, placing the vase back on the table. He adds that his parents sell fruits near the human gate. This shocks everyone present. Sui then asks about the blades on Legion's back. Lichu questions him if he has mastered the art of both swords and blades. He comments that this is something only a third-class thug would do, even if just for appearances. Legion replies that he has indeed mastered both swords and blades, which strikes Master Zhang like a blow. Legion continues, saying he excels in almost every area because his bloodline is strong. Lichu tries to mock him, saying, Don't tell me you learn martial arts from your parents who sell fruit. Legion answers, yes. Do you not eat? Sui leans in and whispers to Cherian to apologize to Master Zhang first thing in the morning. Cherian is left speechless. The scene shifts to a garden, where we see that Cherian had brought Legion to her home. As she takes a walk, she notices Legion standing alone in the middle of the garden. She asks him if he is unable to sleep. He replies that he cannot sleep when he changes locations and that there is something important he has to do tonight. He raises his hand casually and says, I'll be sending off a few guys tonight. Cherian cannot tell if he is joking or deadly serious. His tone is too calm, and Cherian wonders if the fruit shop was also something Legion was joking about. Then Cherian inquires what kind of people Legion's parents are. She mentions that she heard his mother is beautiful and asks what his father is like. Legion replies that his father tries to take care of everything while strictly abiding by the rules, which is good, but the problem is that his father also imposes those rules on him. Legion further explains that his parents are opposed to him entering the Jianghu, especially his father. Hearing this, Cherian thinks to herself that since Legion's parents are not part of the Jianghu, they must be worried about their son. Then Legion tells Cherian that his parents always say they are worried about the Jianghu itself. Cherian is shocked to hear this, but now she understands too. Meanwhile, her own parents are also worried about her, but now that she has reached this point, she must continue. Then Legion looks at Cherian, and she feels really sad thinking about it. After a pause, Legion tells her that he thinks he has already digested all his dinner since it only had vegetables, so tomorrow she should serve meat dishes. Hearing this, Cherian starts laughing. She then tells him to stop saying foolish things and adds that he should leave this place after breakfast tomorrow. Hearing this, Legion looks at her intently. Seeing him staring, she inquires what's wrong. With a smile, Legion asks Cherian if she is worried about him. Flustered, Cherian tells him to stop talking nonsense, then quickly walks away, saying that she is only worried about the people Legion will meet in the future. Hearing this, Legion starts to laugh. Then the scene shifts to a palace, where a few guards are sitting outside, talking and laughing. At that moment, Legion steps forward. The guards, confused to see him, inquire about his identity and wonder why he is standing there like that. They even ask if Legion knows where he is. Legion replies that he is at the black market, a place known as the Wandering Market. Hearing this, the guards smile and remark that Legion knows that and still came. Angered, Legion tells the guards that they are going to die. The guards seem unbothered by his words, and one of them stands up, unsheaths his sword, and charges toward Legion. But Legion easily dodges the strike and, with a single counter, takes the guard down. The other 3 guards are shocked to see this. Legion declares that this time is extremely important to him, and further states that this is the day he takes his first steps toward the future, so he has no choice but to steel his resolve. Wasting no time, the remaining 3 guards rush to strike at Legion together. However, before they can even move, in an instant Legion appears right in front of them, and with a single swing of his sword, he takes all 3 down. The scene then shifts inside the palace, where it seems Legion has already defeated most of the people there. As he enters the final room, he sees a man seated, the leader of the black market, known as the Gluttonous Emperor. The Emperor inquires if Legion is here as a guest. Legion smiles and replies that he is here for the Emperor. Confused, the Emperor thinks to himself about what nonsense Legion is talking. He then asks if a young man like Legion would even have that much money. Legion in turn asks how much it is. The Emperor replies that it is 500,000 yuan. In an instant, Legion takes out the exact amount of money Emperor asked for. Shocked, the Emperor realizes that Legion must have even more money in his bag. The Emperor then remarks, what if he were to kill Legion and take all the money? To this, Legion calmly replies that he would be disappointed. At that moment, the Emperor signals his maid, and in an instant, the maids surround Legion. On the other hand, the Emperor thinks to himself that the moment this young man stepped into the room, he was already caught. Then one of the maids attacks Legion, using one of her techniques, but Legion easily blocks the strike. With a smile, he tells the maid that it was a good technique. Shocked, the maid cannot believe he defended so easily. Legion then states that although her attack was well executed, it was not good enough to kill him. He throws the needle aside, and it lands on the wall near the Emperor. All of the maids are shocked that their technique has been undone. Seeing this, The emperor is surprised that Legion figured out so quickly that the maids were using a soul manipulation technique tool. Legion then asks the maids if any of them actually enjoy working for the emperor. The maids remain silent. Seeing this, Legion tells them they should leave and not worry about the aftermath. The maids are confused, but Legion insists they muster the courage to leave now, so that they can live freely. At this, the emperor begins to laugh, stating that he will let Legion go without seriously injuring him. Hearing this, the maids grow fearful. Legion steps forward and replies, "Is that so?" Then, with a serious gaze, he declares that he will take care of the emperor right here and now. The emperor is stunned as he senses the enormous pressure from Legion's killing intent. The maids decide to leave and thank Legion, saying they will never forget his kindness for giving them such a large amount of money. Legion tells them not to worry about it. Meanwhile, one of the emperor's subordinates silently watches the scene unfold. The emperor, angered, cannot believe that the great gluttonous emperor froze because of this newcomer's presence. Enraged, the emperor releases his technique and declares that he will show Legion his true power. Legion calmly replies that the emperor will need to endure quite a few strikes to grow any stronger. Wasting no time, the emperor charges at Legion, but Legion easily dodges. In an instant, Legion appears right in front of him. The emperor throws a punch, but Legion evades midair with a smile, frustrating the emperor even more. Seeing an opening, Legion leaps into the air and lands a powerful kick to the emperor's face, sending him crashing into the wall. The emperor gets back up, preparing another technique, but Legion flicks a stone from the ground, striking the emperor's arm and injuring it severely. Realizing Legion's overwhelming strength, the emperor thinks to himself that Legion is like a real monster. The emperor then releases his aura, declaring that the fight will not end so easily. But before the emperor can strike, Legion suddenly appears right in front of him and delivers a devastating punch. The emperor is defeated. Legion then turns around and says, "We finally meet, Master Wa, or should I say Wamyukil." The man reveals himself to be the former patriarch of Mount Tai's Phantom Manor. Wa replies that it is a nostalgic name. Legion remarks that who would have thought a genius of formation arts and engineering techniques would be in such a place, and that it took quite a long time to find him. Legion inquires if it has been that difficult to recover from the incident. Wa remains silent. Anyone from Jianghu knows that Mount Tai's Phantom Manor was famous for its advanced machinery techniques. Wamyukil had once been a man of great talent and a devoted family man, until one day one of his daughters touched an unfinished mechanical device, leading to a terrible accident that claimed many lives. Having lost his family, Wa blamed himself, changed his appearance, and went into hiding. Returning to the present, Legion tells Wa that he is a good man. Hearing this, Wa begins to cry. Legion continues, saying that Wa has suffered his entire life, unable to forget the sorrow of losing his family. Wa finds Legion strange, risking his own life to save someone he met for the first time. Until now, no one had ever said such words to him. Wa then asks what he would do as Legion's subordinate. Legion replies that he is going to dominate Jianghu. Hearing this, Wa smiles, goes to his knees, and greets his new master, Legion, promising to devote the rest of his life to him. Legion smiles and tells him, "Then shall we get started?" Wa does not understand what he means at first, but then Legion uses one of his techniques to heal Wa's body. The scene then shifts to outside the palace, where a masked man stands on a tree branch, wondering if the young master is still fighting. Wa is stunned to see that Legion was able to heal his body so easily, because from what Wa knows, a body once transformed by the supreme arts could never be healed. Wa wonders how Legion managed to do it, then thanks him. Legion tells Wa that he is going to give him a lot of work, so Legion is the one who should actually be thankful. At that moment, a masked man enters, saying, "Young master, you did it." The masked man's name is Myong, who is Legion's guard. Looking at Myong, Legion tells him to please shave his beard, because it makes him look old. Myong is stunned to hear this. Then Legion introduces Myong to Wa and explains that Myong will guide Wa on what he needs to do from now on. Afterward, Legion tells Myong that the plans have changed and they will begin with the Zhangxin clan. Hearing this, Myong reminds him that Legion once said the likes of the Zhangxin clan were not even worth messing with, and now he is suddenly talking about participating in the Dragon and Phoenix tournament. Myong asks why Legion changed the plans. Legion replies that no one ever knows when someone's mind might change, do they? Myung remarks that sounds like something a ladies' man would say. Hearing this, Legion smirks and says Myung is just jealous of his popularity. Myung quickly denies it, but Legion, seeing his expression, insists that Myung is extremely jealous. Hwa, confused, silently watches the banter between the two. The scene then shifts to the Zhangxin clan, where guards inform Zhang Lichu and Cherian that the Union leader and young master are away. Hearing this, Zhang inquires when they will return. The guards reply that they do not know. Zhang recalls how they had discussed that Cherian must apologize before things get out of hand. At that moment, Quan Hyeki appears, surprised to see Zhang there. Quan tells Zhang that he came because of the Union leader's invitation, but did not expect to meet someone he would be pleased to see. Zhang greets Quan, saying it has been a long time since they last met. In his mind, Zhang recalls hearing that the Zhangxin clan leader was showing off his power by inviting skilled individuals, though it seems he is selective about whom he invites. Quan then suggests that since both of them seem to have some free time, they should eat together. Injial, nearby, smirks to himself. The scene shifts inside, where Quan tells Zhang that the Zhangxin clan's leader has been very upset. Zhang asks Quan to put in a good word for them if the opportunity arises. Quan tells Zhang not to worry too much and assures him he will. Meanwhile, Cherian reflects on the early morning, when she had prepared food for Legion. However, a maid informed her that Legion had left last night. Frustrated that he left without saying a word, Cherian recalls how Legion was whining about wanting meat, only to suddenly disappear. She thinks to herself that by now, Legion must have already left Wuhan. A few moments later, the scene shifts again. Cherian and Zhang thank Quan, but suddenly Quan remembers he has somewhere urgent to be. He leaves, telling Zhang to cover the bill. When Zhang receives the bill, it is 120 nyang. Stunned by the high amount, Zhang sighs and tells the woman in charge that he does not have enough money at the moment, and asks if he can return tomorrow to pay. The woman refuses, saying they do not accept credit and cannot overlook his circumstances. Until Zhang brings the money, she declares that Cherian will have to stay there. Guards surround both Zhang and Cherian. Angered, Zhang shouts, asking if they are holding his daughter hostage. Looking around, he realizes that all the guards have an unusual aura, and each of them is as strong as he is. Zhang wonders what he should do. At that moment, Legion arrives and says it is nice to meet the sect leader again. Everyone is shocked to see him. Cherian asks what brings Legion here. Legion replies that he has something to discuss with the owner. Approaching the woman, he comments that the wine tastes strange and asks if she mixed something in it. The woman, confused, inquires what he means. Legion states that he heard high-level individuals come here, and asks if the owner also sells fake wine to them. His words begin to gather the attention of other guests. The woman tells him to stop talking nonsense and to lower his voice. Instead, Legion smiles and shouts that the wine sold here is fake. This gathers the attention of everyone, and guests begin to crowd around. The woman tells them not to mind him, insisting he is only talking nonsense. Legion then declares that he will prove to everyone that the wine sold here is fake, and if he can prove it, he will take everything the place has earned today. The woman then asks what will happen if he fails. Legion smiles and says, "We will see about that." He tells everyone to come outside. As they gather outside, Legion asks if it doesn't seem strange that wine is stored in such a distant and hidden place, with the doors chained down by an iron lock. The woman insists there is no way she would store wine like that, but before she can finish, Legion breaks the door and pulls out a huge pot of wine. Seeing this, the woman is shocked. She rushes to strike at Legion, but her blow lands on the pot instead, spilling the wine. To everyone's shock, bugs crawl out from the spilled wine. Then Legion states that if anyone wants to try the wine, but everyone refuses. At that moment, an old man comes forward, which shocks everyone. The old man's name is Elder Yang In-myung, the Southern Peak Alliance leader. After the 13-year-long Great Orthodox Demonic War, having suffered significant losses, the 9 great sects and the 4 great families sealed their doors. Taking advantage of that void, major forces established themselves as the strong sects in the Jianghu. Among them, the Northern Heaven Supreme family and the Southern Peak Alliance are the biggest forces. So, this ordinary-looking old man is actually one of the most powerful people in the current Jianghu. Then Elder Yang inquires how Legion knew about the bugs. Legion replies that he has wandered around a lot ever since he was young. Elder Yang then states that it seems like Legion's knowledge is quite vast and inquires about Legion's identity. Legion introduces himself as the eldest son of drifting clouds and flowing water. Elder Yang states that it's his first time hearing that name. Legion clarifies that he meant the best fruit merchants on the outskirts. Hearing this, Elder Yang starts to laugh and wonders if Legion is intentionally hiding his identity. Meanwhile, Makwi, who is the Southern Alliance White Tiger Squad leader, finds it odd that Elder Yang would be interested in such a kid. Then Makwi states that he will try the wine. As Makwi tries the wine, he angrily looks at the woman, stating that this is the same as they had earlier. Everyone is shocked hearing this and surrounds the owner of the restaurant. Seeing this, the owner tells her guards to intervene, but the guards decide to stay out of it. Meanwhile, Zhang thanks Legion, saying that if it weren't for him, they would have been in great trouble. With a smile, Legion tells Elder Zhang not to worry and that from now on, he will be looking forward to being treated as Zhang's savior. Meanwhile, Makwi tells Elder Yang that Legion is quite interesting. Elder Yang states that Legion is more than that, because from the moment he saw him, feelings Elder Yang had long forgotten rushed back in. Elder Yang wants to see Legion's true strength and feels really excited, as it has been a long time since he met someone that powerful. Seeing this, Makwi wonders if Legion is really that special. Then the scene shifts later that night in the forest, where a man is running away from something. The man thinks to himself that he must alert everyone at all costs, as the fate of the Jianghu depends on it. At that moment, someone comes from behind and states that he is from the Orthodox Alliance. Seeing the tag, the man realizes that there is no mistaking it. It's the Orthodox Alliance identification tag. Then the man states that his name is Myung, of the Northern Heaven Supreme family, and that they don't have time. Myung gets to the point, saying they must cancel the Dragon and Phoenix tournament and the Heavenly Dragon tournament, as a group called the Flying Shallow Association is brewing a big conspiracy during the tournament. The other man asks Myung if this year's tournament is being hosted by the Northern Heaven Supreme family. Then why is Myung trying to reach the Orthodox Alliance instead of reporting to his superior? Myung replies that there is a spy among his subordinates as well, so he can't trust anyone. At that moment, Myung senses people closing in on them. Myung tells the other man that people are chasing after them, so he will become the bait while the other man should escape and alert everyone at the Orthodox Alliance about this. The other man asks Myung if this information has leaked anywhere. Myung replies no, that he is the only one who knows. With a smile, the other man states that it's a relief, then takes down Myung with a single strike. The man states that Myung is mistaken. It's not the Flying Swallow Association, but the Flying Swallowtail Association. And with a single strike, he takes down Myung. Then we see a woman standing on a tree branch. The man tells the woman that the 16th butterfly member greets the association leader. The leader inquires what happened to the others. The man replies that the 14th butterfly member said he had already taken care of them. With a smile, the leader states that she knew the 14th butterfly member would do well, and that this Dragon and Phoenix tournament will become a nightmare. Then the scene shifts to the other side of the forest, where Legion tells Cherian that he is looking forward to seeing the meat that the sect leader is going to buy. Thinking about food makes Legion hungry. Cherian states that Legion is always hungry. Legion replies that it's because he has been thinking a lot these days. Cherian asks if Legion is thinking about conquering Hubei. Legion replies that too, but there is something else. Cherian inquires what it is, but at that moment, Legion senses something. Meanwhile, Cherian thinks to herself that maybe Legion is getting lonely because he is in a foreign land. With a smile, Cherian thanks Legion for today. She further states that Zhang Injial must have definitely ordered Quan Hyeki and that house owner to do that. Cherian would never even consider entering the Dragon and Phoenix tournament with Zhang Injial. Legion tells Cherian that's why he is telling her to enter the tournament with him, and he will make sure to bring her victory. Hearing this, Cherian replies, well, it's settled then. She tells Legion that they should do their best, as winning may be hard, but she at least wants to teach Zhang Injial a lesson. But then Legion tells Cherian that before that, they must take care of the guy behind them. As they turn around, it's Quan Hyeki. Quan inquires if Legion is the one who upset Zhang Injial. Quan states that he heard some new guy came and ruined everything. Hearing this, Legion asks if it's Quan's hobby to run background checks on his targets before taking them down. Cherian is shocked to hear that Quan is here to kill them. Quan then states that he was ordered by Zhang Injial to kill them. Cherian is shocked to sense killing intent coming from Quan and realizes that Legion wasn't kidding. Cherian wonders if she will be able to defeat Quan if she joins forces with Legion, but she has never used her sword against someone in real life before. Cherian then inquires if Legion has any experience in real combat. To her surprise, Legion, being himself, gets scared and tells Cherian to save him. Quan Hyuki is a master of palm techniques. When Quan unleashes his skills, his hands seem to multiply into 8, which earned him the moniker of 8 Flying Hands. Quan was once a hero who dreamed of a better Jianghu, but only the villains always seemed to thrive. Then Quan realized that the distinction between good and evil was meaningless, and eventually, he himself became a villain. Meanwhile, Cherian seems worried, as she has to face Quan alone, and the difference between their skills is like heaven and earth. Seeing her worried, Legion tells Cherian to draw her sword for now. Hearing this, Cherian quickly calms herself and draws her sword, as she can't just stand there and let this happen. As Cherian points her sword towards Quan, he states that she seems eager to die first. In an instant, Quan closes the distance between them and goes for a strike, but Cherian barely manages to dodge it. She is shocked to see how fast Quan is and realizes that she needs to use her movement technique as well. But suddenly her foot slips, and she falls against a tree. Wasting no time, Quan strikes at her using his palm technique, but Cherian quickly ducks down and dodges the incoming blow. Stunned, she realizes that real-life battle is completely different from practice. Cherian thinks that she might actually die. Then Legion shouts, telling her not to rely too much on her movement technique and to let her body follow the flow of the sword. He further explains that her feet don't move the sword. The sword moves first, then the feet follow. Hearing this, Cherian calms down and decides to focus on her sword. Quan, however, tells Legion that he is quite talkative for someone hiding in the back. Seeing an opening, Cherian strikes at Quan with her sword, but he quickly dodges and grabs her hand. Cherian thinks to herself that if she gets pushed back, then both she and Legion will die. Summoning her best technique, she manages to push Quan back. For a moment, she thinks she might actually be able to defeat him, but Quan only smiles and says that she really thinks such childish tricks would work on him. He then strikes at her again with his palm technique. In an instant, Cherian retreats, but her arm is slightly injured. She wonders what she should do now, as she is clearly no match for him. At that moment, Legion tells her that something seems off. Cherian is surprised, and Legion further explains that her sword technique is normally quite heavy. So why is she moving so daintily? Cherian realizes that he is talking about the Crimson Death Sword art. She remembers her father taught her that the Crimson Death Sword art features a variety of changes in footwork and irregular swordplay, and it is based on agile movement. Cherian then wonders, is Legion saying that the method she has been training in for over 10 years is wrong? Moreover, what does Legion know about the Crimson Death Sword art? Legion tells her that right now, she is like a turtle that should be in water but is stuck on land. Cherian thinks to herself that she has indeed been feeling something off ever since she reached the 7-star realm. It feels like she is blocked by a wall. Could it really be what Legion is saying? Is the Crimson Death Sword art really as fast as an arrow, as slow as a turtle, and as fluid as water? At this rate, she realizes that death is the only option. Even so, she decides to give it a try. Cherian calms herself and uses the technique as Legion instructed. To Quan's shock, she is able to close the distance and land a strike on him. Cherian realizes that this is it. But Quan, angered, uses his palm technique on her again. She tries to block the strike with her sword, but fails, and the blow sends her flying into a tree. When Quan looks around, he doesn't see her anywhere. Confused, he wonders where she went. At that moment, Legion states, "This is it." Quan turns around and sees Legion flying through the air while holding Cherian. Quan is stunned to see that Legion can use void steps. Legion explains that it is the falling blossom step of the heavenly thunder steps. He further adds that Quan probably doesn't know much about his father's martial arts, since they were rarely revealed. Quan is shocked to hear that this is Legion's father's martial art. Then Legion comes down and states that his father and mother once said they fell in love at first sight, though he never believed such things. With a smile, Legion admits that he thinks he understands a bit now. Shocked, Quan inquires how Legion managed to use the reverse flow of wondrous movements. How could a kid master such martial arts? In an instant, Legion lands a punch right in Quan's face, sending him flying into a tree. At that moment, Quan realizes that Legion is on a level he can't even comprehend. Quan then begs Legion to forgive him. But Legion steps forward and states, "Do you know why I hate my father? If it were him, he would have forgiven you. He's truly a frustrating person." Shocked and confused, Quan wonders what nonsense Legion is talking about. Wasting no time, Quan decides to run away. Legion, grabbing his sword, says that his mother always told him they would never live like that, and even if his father's path was the right way, he would follow his mother's path. Suddenly, Quan hears a sound. He turns around and sees Legion's sword emitting a dark aura. Legion jumps into the air and, with a single strike, takes Quan down. With a smirk, Legion states that his father's path is just too boring. Then the scene shifts to moments later, where Legion is carrying Cherian. As Cherian wakes up, Legion inquires if she is awake. Cherian tells Legion to put her down, but Legion states that they should keep going since she is hurt. Cherian then inquires what happened. Legion explains that Quan had no luck at all. Who would have thought that Quan would receive a fatal blow from the sword Cherian wielded with her eyes closed? And after Quan fell, Legion went and took him down. Hearing this, Cherian asks if Quan Hyuki died then. Legion replies yes. Hearing this, Cherian is shocked and thinks to herself that she is half responsible for it. Seeing Cherian worrying, Legion tells her there is no need to make a fuss, as Quan Hyuki deserved to die. Besides, don't people say that drawing a sword without the resolve to use it is an insult to the sword? Hearing this, Cherian thinks that Legion is truly a mysterious person. He may seem like a senseless man, but he also seems like a completely different person at times. Then Legion states that it is now the beginning of the Dragon and Phoenix tournament, the Heavenly Dragon Grand Tournament, and the path to conquering the world. Cherian smiles and replies, "Yes, it's the beginning."